Hello everyone, this is Sagar Shah and I've brought with me a very special guest whom you can't see on the screen right now, but now you can see him. Hello Satanick.
Yeah, hello, Sagar sir.
Satanick is the problemist of ChessBase India and he has some amazing problems up his sleeve. Satanick, what have you brought today? I see a position on the screen right now. Very exciting one. What do we have to do?
Yeah, it is right to move and mate in two, the simplest kind of problem that you can find. And yeah, it's by a very legendary composer, and we are going to, study his compositions and learn about him.
Mhm. So this new series we have started along with Shatanik, who loves problem solving, and it's to improve your calculation, imagination through the world of problems. And the first one that you have right now in front of you is mate in two. So I would recommend everyone to think about it, to pause the video and to find out the answer. So every problem that you solve gets you 1 point. Today there will be 4 positions that you will be given. And so try to figure out the answer to each one. Okay, I'll also try to give it a go. Shatnik, and
Yeah,
let's reveal the answer to all those who haven't solved it. Try to pause it. If you have, then you can press play and you will get the answer. So Shatnik, first thing that comes to my mind is that if knight takes e6 comes in this position, it's a
yeah,
checkmate, but the unfortunately queen can take it.
yes.
So
So, what can you do about it?
I don't know. I was thinking of deflecting the queen, or I was also thinking, can I pick up this knight with a check? But then the king goes here, and I can't mate in two moves.
Yeah, yes. And also in chess composition, and especially mate in twos and mate in threes, the first move is never a check or a capture of a whole piece. So, you can safely eliminate those options.
Aha, very
Yeah.
interesting. So there are never
Okay.
checks.
For calculation purpose, you can check why they are not working. For example, queen into b8, king d7, and I don't think it is going anywhere. You are not going to find a mate into. But yeah, but if you are wanting to solve it quickly, you can safely eliminate these options.
Got it. Okay. Maybe on deeper thought, I feel it's going to
Yeah,
be some spectacular move. So
yeah,
I'm looking at some, as you said, no checks like these, because in
yeah.
in normal chess, I always teach checks, captures, and threats.
Checks and threats fast. Yeah. Actually, you are in chess problems also. You have to look at threats, but the nature of the threats are more subtle. So
Hmm.
they are not very direct. So for example, here when I saw this problem for the first time, I think the square that stood out for me is d7. I wanted to support that d7 square because at some point go queen d7 checkmate.
Mhm.
That was my idea. So how can you do that?
And
And
now
also think,
yeah. What should I think?
and now you can, yeah, so how can you reinforce that d7 square? That is what how I started thinking. And yeah,
This move looks really good.
yeah,
Bishop to e8.
e8.
Wow.
And now the threat is queen into b8 checkmate.
Because you have controlled the d7 square. Ah, nice. The bishop controls it. But there are a couple of
Yeah.
moves. Let's say king takes e8.
Now queen c8 mate.
Ooh, it's a mate. The king cannot come out
Yeah,
from here.
f7.
And this is controlled.
Yeah.
And if queen takes e8,
Then queen into
I think knight
then knight into
e6.
e6. Knight into e6 mate. Yeah. Knight into
Beautiful.
e6 mate.
Yeah, this is done. And if he moves his knight somewhere,
Yeah. Then d7 is controlled.
nice, nice, beautiful. That was a wonderful mate in two. Uh,
Yeah.
should we give another one?
Yeah. Let's give another one, and then we will discuss about maybe the composer.
Okay.
Uh, we'll,
Oh, it's composed by the same person. Yeah, all the problems you have
yeah.
today.
All the problems. Yes.
Okay, very interesting. So this is the second one,
Mm.
and again the task is the same, Shatnik, or what is it?
White to move and mate in two.
White to
And yeah.
move and mate in two moves, guys. Once again, try to pause the video and figure out how are you going to checkmate your opponent in two moves. Hmm. Okay, let me think here. Lot of, as you said, no checks, no capture, no checks, no
Yeah,
captures, no threats. Of course, some threats I can create,
yeah,
but so I'm going to. But for understanding this position, definitely I have to think about some kind of checks. But I see
yes,
that this is covered, this diagonal. I see that this file is covered. So
sure.
in a way, the king cannot move anywhere.
Yeah,
Even this,
F5 is also covered. Yes.
yeah. So everything is covered.
Yeah,
So I need to
everything
give
is.
a check with this bishop somehow.
Yes, and another thing I think can be very suggestive here. So we can see that the bishop on h1 is pinning the queen on f3. The bishop on b8 and the queen on d7 are also guarding various flight squares. So the only free piece here is the rook on g6.
Hmm.
So I mean, so it is very probable, it is very likely that the first move will be made by that g6 rook.
Yeah, I would love to give this check and mate him, but the knight controls it.
Yeah,
So can I make a waiting move with the rook? But then if I make a waiting move with the rook and the knight moves, then rook g4 is a mate, correct?
yeah. Then rook g4 is a mate. Yes, exactly.
But if the queen moves somewhere, then I cannot mate him. But the queen, where can it move? It can move in this direction. So
Yeah.
can I block the queen's path?
Yeah, exactly. So if you go rook g1 here, then queen into h1 is there, and you don't
Ah.
get a mate in 2 anymore. But if you go rook g2, then the queen is unpinned, and even though the queen can create some checks and can harass the white king, but still checkmate will follow in the next move because this bishop is hiding behind on h1.
Also, very interesting to note that e2 move, which keeps the queen there and also everything's the same, is met with rook takes e2. The queen is
Queen
pinned
is pinned.
and it's a checkmate. And if you play your knight to f5, then after rook
Rook
g4,
g4, it's a checkmate.
because this is pinned.
Once
Very.
again, the queen is pinned.
What do you call this rook g2 move? I mean, self block or something like that?
No, there is no special name, but yeah, I think the term that we are looking for is ambush because we are basically ambushing the bishop on h1. We are hiding it behind, and then when the
Hmm.
queen is moving out, we are unleashing its power.
Beautiful. So, who is the composer of these problems?
Yeah. So the composer of these problems is the famous Sam Loyd, and in this video series, we are going to study his problems and his problems only.
So this is Sam Loyd in the screen, and can we say that he was like the father of chess compositions or problem solving?
Yes, he is definitely known as the puzzle king of chess problems. So I mean, he was. If you ask me to describe him in one word, then probably the word that I will use is trickster. So he was into all kinds of puzzles. Not only chess problems, he also made mathematical puzzles,
Acha.
and he liked to trick people. So that was his persona. And also when he was young, I have read that he was quite mischievous and also knew a lot of magic tricks and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So this was his personality, and he created thousands of problems, both chess problems and general problems, and
Amazing.
and yeah, and I think the way he has influenced chess composition, I think no one can surpass that.
When was he born and which place did he come from?
He was born in 1841 in Philadelphia. He was
So
an
he is
American.
from the US.
Yeah, he's an
Okay,
American.
got it. Shall we solve one more of him?
Yeah, let's do it.
So this one is the third problem, guys. It is white to play. Once again, Shatnik, what's the task here?
What to move and mate into. So we are now only looking at the most simplest kind of problem, the simplest
So these
mate
are
in twos
not
only.
simple. These are very interesting and very complicated ones because you see here you already ambushed the queen
Yeah,
with your rook. So there could be a discovered check with the queen, but then the bishop may block it. So
yeah,
I'm looking at a double check with my rook and queen.
yeah. This is actually very similar to what we just saw before. But here, instead of a pin, we have a battery on that line on h1 e4.
You mean what is the battery? This and this.
This is a battery, yes, directed towards the king. So if the rook moves, then there will be a discovered check.
So my problem is that if I move the rook to g5, which controls the f5 square, you are blocking in
Yeah,
between
yeah,
with the knight or the bishop. But if I play rook g4, which is a double check, you are going to f5.
Yeah, true.
So I'm not able to checkmate you. Although I do see rook g4, king f5, queen e4, but there is f6 square still.
Yeah.
It's not so trivial,
So
guys.
your main concern is f5, right?
Yes.
So what is the move that you can make to just control f5?
Because my knight is already controlling this. My
Yeah.
bishop is already controlling here. The king also is taking care of these squares. So as you said, look at the piece which is not doing much. Although the rook is also controlling the
Yeah.
square on d3
Yeah.
and
Of course. But f5 is not controlled. How can you bring control on that f5 square?
yeah, without losing
Yeah. and
control.
and the principle of chess composition is that you also consider the stupid moves. So if some move looks stupid to you, you also consider that. So that is the thing. So how
Okay.
can you give me a stupid move to control f5?
Maybe rook f3.
Rook f3, and also rook h5 is there, but rook h5
I was
loses.
worried about king going to
Yeah, yeah.
d3 after
It
rook
loses
h5.
control of d3. So rook f3 is a very good choice.
Is a stupid good choice, yeah?
Yeah, it's actually looks stupid, but it is actually the key.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Key means the answer, yeah? Right move.
the right move, the first move of the solution.
So the
Now we have to
key, okay, we'll
see some
talk in that
variations.
way. Okay, let's say if he takes with the bishop.
Yeah, now you see that the first rank is opened.
Oh, let's go here.
Yeah, queen
Nice,
b1 is
what a
checkmate.
checkmate. Beautiful. Because now the f5 is controlled. Okay, let's take with the knight.
Then again the
Oh,
h
now
file
we
is
go
opened.
this way. Wow, that is a beautiful checkmate.
Yeah,
And let's say he takes with the king.
yeah, and if king, then knight g5,
Ah, the knight comes into the game. And
and
now,
and d4 is e4 is controlled. So it's a checkmate.
wow,
And also you can move the pawn. In that case, the e5 will be self-blocked. This is known as self-block, by the way.
this is self block. Okay.
Yeah. So the e5 square is blocked now, so I can go knight d6.
Oh,
Yeah.
knight g5, right? Knight d6 means
Yeah, knight
f3 would
g5.
I?
Sorry. Yeah, knight g5. Sorry.
Yeah, knight g5, and that is a checkmate. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. So let's do one more, Shatnik, for the day,
Yeah.
because this is quite intense for people who are solving it for the first time, but I'm sure they are loving it.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so this
Yeah.
one is once again white to play and mate in two.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, this is tough. This is tough. We have one, two, three, four pieces. But also, if I may say so, there could be some, if you move your piece away, there could be a check, and it could just be two
Yeah.
moves would get over just like that.
Yeah. Two moves will be botched.
So how do we continue? Okay, I mean, I can move this knight and give a check, but then the h8 square is emptied up.
Yeah. Yeah. So those minor pieces, I mean, the knights and bishops, they are needed because the bishop on, let's say, b4 is controlling a3. You cannot move it. I mean, moving on that diagonal doesn't make any sense.
Hmm.
Uh, and also that bishop on c4 is controlling b3, and the knights are controlling the two back squares, b1 and a1.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, an idea. So when he gives this check,
Yeah.
if you take with the king, that's already two moves done.
But if you take with the queen,
Then it's checkmate, right? Because your
yeah.
king doesn't have anywhere to go. So you need to move the queen in a way where you control this square.
Yes, exactly.
So
That is the
then
idea.
queen h7 comes to mind.
Yeah. And that is the
Beautiful,
solution.
beautiful. And
Even though black can check, but basically the beauty of this move is your rook was pinned, but you are unpinning it with your move.
yeah,
So that
and
is,
look at this mate, no?
yeah. The rook is pinned on a different line now.
Now this is pinned like this, and it's a checkmate.
Yeah.
And if he goes rook c2, then there is queen takes c2. If he goes rook d2, there is queen b1. If he goes rook h2, as we saw, there is queen
Then
takes
queen into
h2.
h2.
Beautiful, very enjoyable, Shatnik. And I think in the end, we should end it with a small quote by Sam Loyd.
Yes. This is a quote from his book Chess Strategy, where he writes about himself. So that is why I thought this is interesting. So he writes here that he has written that you have the typical peculiar Loyd wit. For example, he has written, "I was born in Philadelphia of wealthy but honest parents." So he's clarifying that his parents' wealth were acquired honestly, and
Nice.
then he says that. Yeah, whose earliest recollections are inseparably associated with the chessboard. So I think he had two brothers who were also chess players and composers, and he grew up with them. And having a natural fondness for puzzles and tricks, I became interested in chess problems before entering my teens and soon acquired a love for the art that has withstood the vicissitudes of life and advancing years. So I think that last line reflects his love for chess problems. And for many of us, problems are a lifelong hobby. And once you start solving chess problems, you get hooked for basically hooked for
Yeah,
life.
that is true for you as well. And
Yeah, for
so,
me as well.
four problems have been solved, and
Yeah,
this fifth one is, guys, a test for you, kind of a homework, if you may say so, where you have to find the right move. And so, at the end of it, this answer will be revealed in the next episode of problem solving puzzles. And please write to us in the comments section as to how many points did you get from four in the first four, and also the answer to this one. What is it? Shatnik, uh,
yeah,
it is going to be a pleasure, uh, working together as we go through the world of problem solving. And thank you for being our guide on this journey.
sure. Thank you. And if you have any suggestions, if the viewers have any suggestions, they can also write to us at chessbaseindiasocial@gmail.com. We'll give the
Okay.
mail ID in the description, maybe.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
Shatnik will read, and then you will, if you have any questions, you can
Any
always ask
question, any
him.
suggestions? Yeah.
Cool.
We are doing this series for the first time. It's kind of new.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And thank you all. Bye bye.
Yeah.